Hello, everyone. Hope you are well on this Monday night. It is February 5th, 2024. As I record this, it's about 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to cover a couple of different things. I'm going to talk about things that we are seeing that are disturbing, but also signify, they're signs of what is to come. Just magnify that by pick a number, a million, millions. I'm going to talk about that. All right. Also, I'm going to talk about this border security bill, which is anything but. And I'm going to try not to. I'm probably going to go off on that thing on a rant, y'all. So just hold on that one. Hold on tight. All right. Bear with me. Bear with me. Also, a couple of one or two other updates. And I have a passage that I'm going to share that I literally a while ago I opened up the Bible. My eyes went to this. The first thing my eyes went to. I'm going to read that passage. It's a special one, so stay tuned. You want to listen to that, okay? So I'll get to that too. And Teddy is back there with me. He didn't want to come up in my lap, but he's making noises back there. So you might hear Teddy back there chime in. All right. I saw where Dublin, Ireland, mass protests against mass immigration. You know, it's not just happening here. It's happening to our north. It's happening in Europe, big time. It's been happening there. I see where there are other protests going on all over Europe concerning the economy, immigration, farmers, and you hear very little of it here. It's like you got to dig for it, or you go to a foreign source, a foreign media source, which is it's really pathetic that we have to do that, but we do. Remember back in the old days when you had like pretty much respected people on the news every night that would tell you the news and just tell you what's going on. They didn't inject all this other stuff in it. They didn't have a specific, they might have had an agenda, but for the most part, they just told you what was going on. Like just news. Wouldn't that be nice? Anyway. Oh, also, real quick, I'm going to start doing this either tonight or tomorrow. Check my, if you will, look at my community page on my channel. I'm going to start posting some music, some things that I listen to, some things that Miss Dawg may listen to, and some of it may be Christian music, some of it might not be. Just things I think we need to have, you know, something that helps us relax and de-stress, decompress. So, and music is one of those things I know for us, for sure. So check it out when you have a chance. All right. Okay. What am I going to do first? This dang border security bill, y'all. Man. Okay. It's anything but a border. They call it a border security, and I saw one article say border security slash dash foreign aid bill. Well, how about an American citizen bill? How about an American citizen aid bill? How about a border shutdown bill? Let's do a border closing bill. Let's do a bill that goes back to, I don't know, Ellis Island days at least, when we at least look at somebody coming in, give them an exam, or look at them physically, some vetting, please. Hello? Is that too much to ask? I guess so. But this bill that the Senate put through, or is put through the Senate now. All right, let me just read a couple of things. This is what the Senate came up with. I'm just going to read a few things on it. But $60 billion in military aid to, you guessed it, Ukraine. Man, y'all, that must be some kind of corruption hole that we'll never know of. You know, we'll never know how deep that goes. 60 billion to military aid to Ukraine, 14 billion to Israel, 20 billion to border security. So 20 billion for the border security and 60 billion for Ukraine. That's not on our border. Not on our border. No. 10 billion to humanitarian aid in Gaza. I can't find anything that says anything about fixing the border or closing the border. That's been left out, I think. Unless I'm missing something, y'all let me know if I'm missing something, please. None of this fixes the border. It just makes it worse. Kind of like every other bill, pretty much they do. That they say fixes something, but it doesn't. It ends up printing more money and adding to the debt that we already have. What's the debt up to? The national 34, 35 trillion and counting, and getting larger quicker every day. It's not sustainable. They have to know this. They don't care. They don't care. How about an American Citizen Aid Bill? Please, we're right here. How about some tax credits, a refund? I know, I'm being silly at this point, right? Now, the Speaker of the House, Mr. Johnson, says that this bill is DOA, dead on arrival, at the House, in the House. I would hope so. Go back to the drawing board. Let's do a real one. But that won't happen. We know this. It's a bunch of political stuff. I mean, in the border thing, and it's nice, and I'll be clear. It's nice that, okay, the Eagle Pass thing and the convoy was real. Maybe not, it wasn't like what they said it was going to be, this huge 700,000 thing. Okay. But it was real. They really did go through there. And I watched some video from it. They had some big names in there. They had Ted Nugent, Sarah Palin. I think they had a few other people. I can't think of their names now. But it looks like for the most part, or they still are. I'm not sure if they're still going through with it. That was very calm and peaceful. That's cool. But the Eagle Pass situation where all the governors or half the nation's governors are supporting Texas. That's cool. That's good to see. I think the reality is that even though they have pretty much shut down that particular part of the border is long, and they've had video of people going just a few miles down from Eagle Pass where there are breaks, openings in the border fence where it's obvious people have come through. They left clothes, they changed clothes right there. Now, it wasn't a big pile, but who knows how many are coming through that way. I'm sure they're finding other ways to get through right now. The cartels are going to do that. So it's kind of symbolic, and it's political. It's something. It's something. I mean, it's a start, maybe. How about build the rest of the wall? But anyway, on to this New York City, and I kind of mentioned this the other day, but I can't remember the exact number. $53 million in credit cards or credit or debit cards to the illegal immigrants coming in, and they're reloading them monthly up to $1,000. What a deal! What a deal! It's insane, is what it is. It's going to get ugly, and I'm going to tell you how it's going to get ugly here in a minute. But they're also getting these cards, food, hotels, no telling what else. I guess they got probably job leads, or they probably get paid in cash. They don't have to pay taxes then. They're jumping on cops already. So they're getting all this stuff, free stuff, accommodations, and they're already committing crimes, even though they're getting all this stuff. They're jumping on New York City cops and then get away with it. Insane. And so my question, when I starting to think here, so what happens when this free stuff like goes away or stops or even just diminishes or decreases? They're already angry, complaining about food and jumping on cops, New York City cops, and getting away with it. So that will embolden them more. So what happens when they have nothing and they may have to actually be productive? Now, no, again, I always say this to qualify. There are probably very productive ones in the group, in this whole thing. But we don't. What we're seeing so far, on even a small scale, is going to exponentially increase. We're already seeing crime of all kinds, the drugs, the fentanyl, no telling what else. So when this realization comes on them that it's not meeting their expectations, what's going to happen? They're going to get very angry. They're going to get way more angry. And it's not just like 5 of them. It could be millions of them. Millions, thousands. So they're jumping a few cops today, and it might be you tomorrow. It might be many more tomorrow, or next day, or a month from now, or come to your door. They're already doing that in some places. And it don't matter where you live. Are they going to go back home when they realize that it's not what they expected or what they were told? Are they going to go back home? No. I mean, a few. Some might, but no. They're going to go home. Yeah, they're going to turn around and come back the way they came through the Darien Gap and all that stuff. No, they're here. They're here. You got crime. I was reading something a while ago about a Venezuelan crime group already there in New York City. Cartels, I'm sure, involved. What they call a thieving crew. It's unreal. And it's just allowed. And they get away with it. So you can jump on a cop and get away with it. But if you do other things like I don't know, protest outside um, certain venues, you might get thrown in jail. You know, if you even you're being peaceful about it. How about an American citizen security bill? I'm not holding my breath. It's not coming, is it? We're on our own. Prepare, like I've said before, for your homes, your property, your neighborhoods. Get to know your neighbors. Form, I mentioned this in the past, in a while, but form even an informal neighborhood watch. You can address it as just crime only. You know, we have that here in our neighborhood. It's a small neighborhood, so we have an informal watch where quite a few people are retired, semi-retired, what have you. And if there's something off, if something is odd coming through this neighborhood, there's communication rolling already. So we know. There's so many cameras. We got just about every square foot, inch covered with cameras here too, because it's one way in and one way out here. So wherever you live, and it depends on where you live, the neighborhood and your area, but however you can, as much as you can, try to get to know a few people. You don't have to come out and say, I'm a prepper. And, you can just approach it like, hey, in an effort to fight crime or, a neighborhood watch or something like that. Those have been around forever. Approach it like that if you don't want to go into more detail. And you shouldn't, until you get to know somebody a lot better. But anyway, just throwing stuff out there is helpful, and let's keep our preps up for sure. All right, share your thoughts on that. I'm going to go to this passage. It is, and literally, y'all, when I opened up my Bible, and before I started recording, and I just literally opened up, and I was trying to kind of go for a psalm, and the Psalms, and I know Psalm is about the middle of the Bible. Didn't go there though. It went to Isaiah, and the first thing I opened it right to and laid my eyes on was Isaiah 53, Isaiah chapter 53. And that's what I read. And I'm going to read it. All right, bear with me. This is Isaiah chapter 53. Who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up before him like a tender shoot. Who's he talking about? And like a root out of dry ground, he had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and familiar with suffering. Like one from whom men hide their faces, he was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he took up our infirmities and carried our sorrows. Yet we considered him stricken by God, smitten by him, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed. We all, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shears is silent, so he did not open his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. And who can speak of his descendants? For he was cut off from the land and the living for transgressions of my people. He was stricken. He was assigned a grave of the wicked and the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer. And though the Lord makes his life a guilt offering, he will see his offspring and prolong his days, and the will of the Lord will prosper in his hand. After the suffering of his soul, he will see the light of life and be satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servant will justify many, and he will bear their iniquities. Therefore, I will give him a portion among the great, and he will divide the spoils with the strong, because he poured out his life unto death and was numbered with the transgressors. He bore the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors. Surely, but he was pierced for our transgressions. Verse 5 again. Pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. Man, I tell you, we know he was talking about Jesus. So this is Isaiah in the Old Testament, y'all. It's not a coincidence. I think I opened that up for a reason. I hope it helped somebody. I think it did. And share your thoughts on that. Let's keep our preps. Let's stay safe out there. God bless you, and I'll see you soon.